Hey, what's up guys? So today, bringing you a Snapchat Q&A. That rhymed. But today, I posted on my Snapchat, posted across my social media that I'm doing a Snapchat Q&A. So I put it out there and you guys sent me tons and tons of questions back. This is by far the best reception I have had for a Q&A so far, and I am super excited to go through all these questions. Not sure how long this video is going to be, but I'm going to try to answer every single one of your guys' questions. So here we go, getting started with question number one. So Asil Al Jabri says, what's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? I usually brush my teeth. So first thing I do in the morning is brush my teeth. And what's your favorite TV show of all time before watching Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad? Because when you watch these two, none of them will be your number one anymore. So as you guys know, again, I posted on my Snapchat last week about me having more free time and I was going to be able to watch either Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones. I was gonna add that to kind of my repertoire in the evenings. I went with Game of Thrones, but my favorite TV show of all time is Survivor. I'm gonna win that show. I'm gonna win that show. Mark my words, I'm going to win that reality show, Survivor. That's my favorite show of all time. Dylan Faith asks, how long did it take you to go to the gym when you started working out before you were able to get a rhythm down for yourself? Honestly, I started going to the gym when I was in 7th grade, and it was because I wanted to get better for sports. So I won't say that I necessarily had a rhythm right away, but I went to the gym 5 days a week right off the bat. I dove right in, and I would say I had pretty much a rhythm down immediately because I had a program to follow to build strength, to get faster, to get bigger, all these different things for sports. So I would say I'm kind of like an exception when it comes to working out and training, just because I've done it my entire life. But I know a lot of people, it usually takes maybe 3 to 4 weeks before they really have a rhythm down. So if you don't have a rhythm down your first week, don't sweat it, it'll come. Next question, Nick JD333 says, I've got 2 questions for your Q&A. What is your opinion on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and what is your biggest landmark in lifting? So what is your opinion on the Lord of the Rings trilogy? I love Lord of the Rings. Love Lord of the Rings. It is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Of course, Jurassic Park and that trilogy, well, it's more than a trilogy now. That is number 1 for me. Star Wars is a very, very close number 2. Terminator, and then right after Terminator, that 4 to 5 spot is between Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. I mean, you just get lost in that world right from Fellowship all the way through. I cannot stand the Hobbit movies, but Lord of the Rings trilogy, love them. And my biggest landmark in lifting, probably when I was able to get a 5.0 Ironman in high school. So it was a big thing in high school to be able to be strong for your body weight. And if you could bench, squat, and power clean, that total from bench, squat, and clean, total, divide by your body weight, if that is a 5 kind of ratio, so if you can lift 5 times your body weight with that total, then like you're elite with powerlifting. And I hit that when I was a sophomore in high school, and I ended up setting my school record, which was 6.32, which I'm very proud of. So holding that record and kind of hitting that mark when I was only a sophomore is something that I'm really proud of. But moving forward, 500, the journey to 500, if you guys are watching for my deadlifts, that's the next big landmark. I'm knocking that one down soon, so stay looking out. Next question, Shorty Nguyen says, if there was a movie about your life, who would play you, and what are some major events you would include? That's a good question. That's a good question. I like that one. I would say, oh my word, I guess it kind of depends what stage of my life this person is playing, but I would say, man, who would play? I would say maybe Taron Egerton, the kid from Kingsman, maybe play like me in my early 20s, kind of going through kind of starting my business, going and moving to Florida kind of on a whim, and just kind of getting into that fitness industry. And then as I grow older, everybody says I look like Wolverine and Hugh Jackman. So I guess Hugh Jackman would play me in like a sequel or something. But I would say some major events in my life would be definitely when I moved to Florida, and then right now I would say is a very huge event, me being done with school, kind of adventuring into the real world, and really making Tregg Fisher Fitness my personal training like an entire career and just diving into it. So I would say probably Taron Egerton. I don't know if he necessarily looks like me that much, but the kid's an awesome actor and he's a lot of fun in Kingsman. So that's what I would say. Next question. Joseph Ward sent a video and he says,
"Hey Tregg, if you had the opportunity to meet a personal hero of yours and ask them one question, who would it be and what question would you ask them?"
Ooh, that's a good question. If I could meet a personal hero and ask them any question, oh my word. I would say, wow, that's a good question. Personal hero, oh my word. I would probably ask Tim Tebow. I mean, you guys are probably gonna hate on me for loving Tim Tebow. I was always a huge Tim Tebow fan, but the dude's just a genuine good person. He's had a ton of adversity. I mean, you look at the guy, I mean, he got hated on throughout his entire time in the NFL for having bad fundamentals and just not being a very good quarterback, even though he would win games. I was a big fan of how he handled adversity. I would ask him, what is the #1 key to handling adversity and taking steps forward and being successful in other avenues that might not be what you've done your entire life? So for me, I've done fitness my entire life, but say something happened, what would I do and how would I find that second kind of passion, that second kind of avenue to be successful? How Tim has done with like charity work and broadcasting and stuff like that. So I would definitely, I would probably ask Tim Tebow how he would deal or how he dealt with adversity and how he found other avenues to still be successful. So great question. That's a good question. Next question, David says, what's your favorite zombies map in Call of Duty? Probably Die Rise, just because I've played it the most. Yeah, probably Die Rise and Black Ops 2, just because I played it the most and I feel like I know where everything's at. I can do all the unlockables. I can build all the different guns and stuff. So that one I'm just comfortable with. Me and a couple buddies, we can go up there, we can camp up top, and we can slay some zombies. Next question. I'm not gonna answer that one. That's inappropriate. All right, so next question. Jay Soda says, I weigh around 178 pounds. I'm about 6 feet tall, and I'm not sure what my body fat percentage is. I'm not obese, but you can't see my abs at all either. And I was wondering what program I should order off of your website once I save up the money. In my opinion, if you're 178 pounds, you're 6 feet tall, you can't see abs, you just don't have that muscular foundation built yet. And it's not gonna happen soon. For me, I always try to push people to make it a lifestyle change. And my 6-month lifestyle change program is the one that I've seen the most results with clients on, simply because you have to build that foundation first. And from what it sounds like, being 178 pounds, 6 feet tall, you're probably pretty skinny, but you don't have abs, it's going to take a while to build that muscular foundation. So I would probably tend to go towards the 6-month program. But you know what, if you just want to kind of get a head start on something, 12 weeks would be a decent route just to kind of get a map of what you need to do. But to actually make some real results, I would say the 6-month program is your best route. All right guys, so next question, got another video from Tamos Suri.
If you could relive any moment in your life, what would it be and why?
If I could relive any moment in my life, it would be this afternoon when I only hit 60-pound dumbbells for 12 reps. I probably could have done 15. So pretty disappointed with that. But no, if I could relive any moment in my life, it would definitely be when I moved to Florida. I talked about it in a video that you guys have probably seen before. It is one of the most viewed videos on my channel, and it's about when I moved to Florida and I really took that leap of faith, and I kind of played it on the side of caution. I came back to Indiana after I moved to Florida, and I pursued getting a degree in something I'll never use. And if I would have stayed in Florida and continued to build myself there, who knows where I could be today. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason. I'm not a person that lives with regret. So do I regret it? Absolutely not. I mean, coming back to Indiana made me into the person I am today. But if I could relive that any moment, I mean, I think it'd be cool to kind of see where I would be at if I would have stayed in Florida for those extra 2 years. But that's probably the moment I would go back to. Next question. Jeremy says, what's your most disappointing movie of all time and 3 favorite actors? Keep up the good work, Jeremy from Washington. Thank you, Jeremy from Washington. But my 3 favorite actors, I'll start with that first. My 3 favorite actors, like I said before, Taron Egerton. I love that kid. I think he has a ton of potential. I would have loved to see him as Han Solo, but I'm not gonna mess with Han Solo. I mean, honestly, whoever they think is the best fit for Han Solo is the best fit for Han Solo. I trust them at this point. So I would probably say Taron Egerton is right up there. I always love everything Mark Wahlberg is in. And that third actor, probably The Rock. Honestly, probably The Rock, simply because everything he's in is at least fun. Even if it's not a great movie, it's at least fun. And man, he adds so much to every movie he's in, whether it's comedic chops, whether it's just being a pure action star. The Rock is probably that third favorite actor of mine. And most disappointing movie of all time, Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman. It might just be because it's still so fresh. I just saw it back in March a few months ago. I had such high hopes for that movie. I mean, until that trailer came out, then I was pretty kind of bummed out. But Batman v Superman, with those 2 superheroes, had so much potential, and it just sucked. I didn't like it at all. I was not a fan of the movie. I thought it really drug on. Everything, all the kind of cameos that they wanted to have with the new characters was just kind of shoehorned in very lazily. Was not a fan of Batman v Superman, and I love Batman, so I was very disappointed with that. Actually, speaking of superheroes that I love that I was disappointed with, Spider-Man 3, when they put Venom in that movie and had Eric Foreman, Topher Grace, Eric Foreman from That 70s Show play Eddie Brock, that's the most disappointed I have ever been, ever. Spider-Man 3 is my most disappointing movie ever, by far, actually. I don't know how I forgot about that, but Spider-Man's my favorite superhero of all time, and Spider-Man 3 was a train wreck. I hated it. So, Spider-Man 3, I don't even know why I said Batman v Superman now, because Spider-Man 3 is just so much worse. Next question, James Mervin says, when the going gets tough in life and in your workouts, how do you stay motivated? And have you got any metal or punk bands on your playlist? If so, who? Thanks from James in Belfast, Ireland. You're really inspiring. Thank you, James in Ireland. You're inspiring, man. You're inspiring. But do I have any metal or punk bands in my playlist? Like Fame on Fire, Mayday Parade is real good. I'm a big fan of like Our Last Night, We Came as Romans, Ex-Ambassadors, just a few like that. I guess Ex-Ambassadors wouldn't be very much punk rock, but We Came as Romans is definitely one of my favorites. And then like Our Last Night, Mayday Parade, I Prevail. So just a few bands like that. I had to look them up, so they must not be that important to me, but I enjoy them. And when the going gets tough in life in your workouts, so in life and in workouts, you can't be stuck in the present. Like, as often as you'll hear me say, be present in the moment. If the going really does get tough, look ahead, look to the future, look to what your main goal is. What are you doing? Why are you doing what you're doing? Seriously, why are you doing what you're doing? Because if you can focus on that and you can see the future and you see what your goal is, you should be able, if it matters enough to you, you should be able to push through, in my opinion. All right, guys, so next question. CJ asks, Q&A, are you a religious kind of person? Thanks and keep up the hard work. I'm not gonna say I'm necessarily like a religious person, but like I definitely believe that like we're here for a reason. I grew up going to church. I would definitely classify myself as a Christian. But would I say I'm a religious person? No, I think religious is the wrong way to put it. I would say more of a person that has like strong beliefs in kind of like what they believe, if that makes sense. Sorry if that doesn't make sense, but yeah. Next question, the Vinnytude asks,
I just want to know how you get tight and toned.
Hey Tregg, how do you come up with fair pricing for a service?
Alright, so how do you get tight and toned? Count your macros. How do you get tight and toned? Build muscle. So there's, in my opinion, tight and toned is more or less just kind of like building muscle, but also keeping that body fat in check. So if you're keeping that body fat in check and you're building muscle, that's all about making sure your macros are right on point. In my opinion, I think you need to be able to have a muscle base to have a tight physique, and to get toned, to bring that body fat down, you gotta count your macros, you gotta be in a caloric deficit. And how do you come up with a fair service or a fair price for a service? One, you have to look at the market, you have to look at kind of the other people in that market of what they're offering the prices, and you have to kind of sit back and say, what am I worth? What is my time? What is my service worth to me? What would I pay for, like, honestly, sit back and say, how good of a job do I do? What would I truthfully pay for my service? And when you can kind of sit back and you can think, how much am I worth? Then that's kind of how I came up with my prices. And plus, as you kind of go through things, you can kind of, as you kind of go through that process of growing your business, your prices will change, as mine have. Do you like my gym bag? I do like your gym bag. It's fancy. And next question, are you going to do a video series about getting more swole? My channel is all about getting more swole, man. Or woman with that handbag, I don't know, but that's what my channel's all about. My channel from the start has been about getting more swole. So I might start a series if I do like a contest prep or a powerlifting meet prep or something like that. But my channel from the beginning has been all about getting swole and making gains and following my life and me being dumb. But yeah. All right, so next question comes from Leon, and he asks,
hey Tregg, greetings from Germany. What you say to my physique?
you're shred, brah.
The question is, what is your favorite Term Team movie? Alright, keep doing the great work. I'm out.
My favorite what movie? Term Team. Team Term. Oh man. Dude, I don't know what you said, I'm sorry. It sounded like Term Team. I heard Team something. So Remember the Titans is my favorite team movie. Sorry, man. You're shredded though, so keep up the good work. Next question. Mark Marchetti says, Tregg, do you change your workout routine at all when you are bulking versus when you are cutting? No, I don't. I keep my workout routine almost entirely the same. I change my macros around. I might change up my rep scheme a little bit. I might lower the rep scheme a little bit. I know some people will say when they're cutting, they up their reps because they're trying to burn more fat, burn more calories. For me, when I am cutting, I might drop my reps a little bit because I'm trying to retain strength, and I'll let my macros and that caloric deficit do more of the work. So if I change my routine at all, it's just dropping my reps down a little bit so I can retain more strength. Next question, Christian Lyle says, hey man, I don't know if you're still doing the Q&A, but what is your ab workout? My ab workout varies huge. I do weighted ab exercises, so with the tricep rope, I'll do like pull downs, I'll do like the decline bench, I'll do sit-ups on that with like a medicine ball with like Russian twist thrown in. I'll do hanging leg raises, bunch of different things. It's just kind of, ab exercises for me is not like a one size fits all. Ab exercises work different for each person, so find what works best for you and do that. Next question, Kyle J says, hey Tregg, you mentioned in your videos you want to kind of train like an athlete. My question is, if you could be a master at any sport, what would it be? And what do you listen to in the gym? I listen to like a lot of rock and like rap in the gym, while I listen to like country outside of the gym, because the music I listen to in the gym is there to get me amped and get me ready to work out. So that's what I listen to in the gym. So then if I could be a master at any sport, what would it be? Oh my word. Well, I think football and UFC fighting are probably out, because I'm not about to take that much brain damage and that much punishment if I can be a master at any other sport. Soccer does not sound appealing to me. I hate running. Baseball, I couldn't get myself to play baseball. Basketball, that's an appealing one. I mean, sure, you gotta play 82 games a season, but man, if you're a master at it, look at LeBron. That's not bad. Or look at Kobe, man. You're a hero across the world. So I would say probably basketball. I mean, that wouldn't be bad. I would say probably if I could be a master at any sport, basketball. All right, so next question, Sean King asks, question for your vid, what is the most impactful piece of advice you have ever received? I would say most impactful piece of advice I have ever received is that you control two things in life. You control attitude and effort, and if you know that, then, and you know everything else is kind of out of your control, but if you can control those two things, you're gonna be successful. So attitude and effort are two things you control. You can't control anything else, so put forth your best effort, put forth and keep your best attitude at all times. You're gonna be successful. So that's the best piece of advice I've ever received. Jack the Great says, showing my friend Star Wars for the first time. Cool, man. All right, so Jack the Great now asks a question and says, what's the weirdest encounter you've ever had with a stranger? I would probably say when I worked at an LA Fitness in Florida, one day there was a weird old dude. He just followed me around the entire day. Literally the entire day. When I was training clients and stuff, he was just like following me around. And then I got done with work. I was walking out. I was like vlogging too. I don't even know. I might have it on my channel. The guy followed me out and was like, hey, what are you doing tonight? You want to grab dinner? It's like, no, bro, I don't. Quit being creepy. So that was the weirdest encounter I've ever had in my life. Will Collings says, what got you into fitness and weight training, and what's the first movie you can remember watching? The first movie I can remember watching is The Land Before Time. Still brings me to tears to this day. Still. Good movie though. What got you into fitness and weight training? Just being an athlete growing up. That's what got me into it. Next question. MG Larry _16 says, hey, what are some easy meal prep recipes? I've got no problem gaining muscle, but I'm trying to keep the body weight. But trying to keep on the body weight is tough. Thanks. Easy meal prep recipes. To be honest with you, I haven't meal prepped in like 2 years because I just counted my macros. So if you're trying to keep the body weight on, count your macros, be in a surplus. Don't necessarily worry about too much with meal prep recipes, but I love making like omelets with egg beaters, getting all that protein in. You can throw basically any kind of fruit, or not fruit, that would be gross, but like vegetables and meat and stuff into that omelet. Tastes real good. Next question, Danny says,
What kind of training would you recommend doing purely for strength gaining? By the way, love the videos, keep it on that. Thank you. 2 questions. Who's your favorite UFC fighter or fighters? And what do you think of Joe Rogan's work?
All right, so who is my favorite? So first off, strength training. Lower the reps, there's a lot of good strength training programs out there that you can find for free on the internet, but lower rep schemes, so like 3 to 5 reps for like 4 to 5 sets. Really working on progressive overload, really working on kind of like building that strength. So not necessarily maxing out every time, but again, there's a lot of good strength training programs out there for free on the internet if you're really interested in it. But then who is my favorite UFC fighter? My favorite UFC fighter is Uriah Faber, and he fights this weekend at UFC 199. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he beats Dominic Cruz. Please beat Dominic Cruz. And what do I think of Joe Rogan's work? Freaking love Joe Rogan. There's kind of like mixed emotions. You either love Joe Rogan or you hate Joe Rogan. I love Joe Rogan. I listen to his podcast all the time. I love him on commentating for the UFC. So love Joe Rogan. Next question, Tina asks,
hey Tregg, my question for you is, if you were to trade bodies with anyone for a whole day, who would it be? And also, what superpower would they have?
All right, so I'd trade bodies with you for sure. But if I could trade bodies with anyone, I think it would be Bradley Martin. I spit a little bit. If I could trade bodies with anybody for one day, it would be Bradley Martin. The dude is like freaking, I would trade bodies with The Rock. Who wouldn't trade bodies with Dwayne Johnson? And superpowers, being Dwayne Johnson is a superpower. Seriously, that dude's awesome. So if I could trade bodies with anybody, it'd be Dwayne Johnson. Thanks for the question. Thank you. We have girls asking questions in this Q&A. Wow. All right, guys, so next question. John says, hope you aren't done. Rather have a Monster or Sour Patch Kids? Thanks, John. But would I rather have a Monster or Sour Patch Kids? By the way, the food you sent me a picture of looked fantastic. I don't know if it's like mac and cheese or what. It looked good. I could go for some of that right now. But Monster or Sour Patch Kids? Sour Patch Kids, man. Sour Patch Kids are life. Sour Patch Kids are love. I love me some Sour Patch Kids. Next question. Tim Watts says, Tregg, what's your big goal for the summer? I know that you're going to be focused a lot more on fitness now that you're done with school. What is your vision for your future, and will you be competing? I don't know if I'll ever be competing. I just don't know if that route's for me. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever compete. That's something that will probably be something I decide in my future when I'm a little bit more established, I guess. But I don't know. Competing is something that has always intrigued me, but it's something that has never interested me, if that makes sense. I've always been intrigued with getting lean and getting to that level, but stepping on stage, it's just not that interesting to me. So will I ever compete? I don't know. Will I ever get lean enough to compete? Absolutely. I mean, I'll probably do that here. Not gonna say, but I might have some plans for getting lean somewhat soon. My vision for my future, since I'm done with school, and kind of like my big goal for the summer, is to just find myself outside of school. So often I have spent my summers kind of like working with the notion that I'm going back to school in August. So I want to find myself these months so that when August and September roll around, I'm ready to go. I'm ready for life. I'm ready for the real world. And I mean, so far this summer, I've felt like I've done a pretty good job of really kind of turning Tregg Fisher Fitness, turning this whole personal training thing into more of a career, giving my clients a lot more of my time, which is something I'm very proud of. So that's my big goal for the summer. Next question, Josh Plisky says, for your Q&A, hope you didn't miss it, or hope I didn't miss it. You didn't, man. How do you stay so motivated to work out every single day? I work 40 hours per week, and I'm very tired a lot of days when I get home. How do I stay motivated to reach my goals? In my opinion, you just gotta you gotta find out what your big goal is. What's your goal? Do you want to build a lot of muscle? Do you want to lose weight? Whatever that goal is, you've got to take it, grasp onto it, and work for it. You gotta work for it. I mean, you're putting in work 40 hours a week. I understand. That's tough. Like, you're working a real job, man, which is commendable in itself. Like, there's a lot of people out there that just don't do anything for society whatsoever. But you got to think about what your main goal is. What do you want? And if you want it bad enough, you're gonna get in there and you're gonna get after it. I answered that motivation question earlier. If you want something bad enough, you'll be thinking about it, and that should drive you. That should drive you to go get it. So that's what I would say. Next question, Gabe Truex says, so can you donate sperm to my future wife so my kid can be a pro athlete? We can work something out, man. We'll work something out for sure. All right, guys, so next question, Tabitha Joe says, and that's how we're gonna end the video, because you can't follow Guns N' Roses, plain and simple. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate when you guys give those thumbs up, because it helps more people see the video. But thanks again so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you're not following me on Snapchat yet, go follow me on Snapchat. It is my most interactive social media platform that I have. I answer every single person back, because if you take time out of your day to snap me, man, I can take time to respond. So thanks so much for watching the video. If you haven't subscribed, go hit that red subscribe button, www.treggfisher.com for online personal training. Thanks again so much for watching, guys. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.